What's up everybody? I'm going to make this video for all of my yield farmers out there. It's been a while since I made a yield farming video, but recently I've seen a few good stablecoin yield farming opportunities crop up, so I wanted to share them with you. I am definitely farming some of these myself, and the more I share with you guys, the less alpha there is for me. But to me, it's worth it because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel and I love sharing this knowledge. So if you find it useful, please give me a subscribe and a like on the video, especially if you want to see more of these yield farming videos in the future. And of course, in order for me to give financial advice, I would have to be aware of your specific financial situation. And for that reason, everything in this video is for informational purposes and should not be considered financial advice. Also, keep in mind that these aren't going to be the most insane, crazy yields that you've ever seen, but I have optimized to make them very safe. And when I'm doing stablecoin yields on US dollars, I really like to prioritize safety because if you're going to be speculating on super risky farms, then you might as well yield farm with volatile assets, which could have much higher yields. And if you can find a yield of 10% plus on USDC on a safe chain in a safe protocol, that's pretty good. And that's what a lot of these actually are. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, our first yield farm that we're going to go over is a protocol called Moonwell, which is built on top of Morpho. Morpho is a lending protocol that is pretty similar to Aave, but it adds a few unique features, which basically lets companies like Moonwell build their own vaults with their own specific parameters. And as you can see, Moonwell has some other products like a Moonwell card that I've actually heard is pretty good. That lets you spend directly from some of their USDC vaults. So anyway, if you actually go ahead and hit launch app and then look at their USDC, if you go in, it says 6.4 APY, but that's a lie. It's actually higher. If you go into supply USDC, now what you want to do is go click on where it says USDC on base and switch that to USDC on OP mainnet. And you can see there's our yield. We have a nice 9% APY. If we hover over the yield and zoom in a little bit, we can see that around 3 or 4% is coming from Well rewards, which is Moonwell's native token, and around 5% is coming from a grant that they received from Optimism for OP rewards. Because they just launched this vault in the last few days, the base APY right now is 0, but as people start borrowing against this vault, that should go up. So the yield might actually get higher on that side, but as more people go into the vault, the staking rewards on Well and OP will get diluted and will probably go down a little bit. But for now, it's a relatively safe asset, it's a safe chain, and it's a safe protocol. So I think getting 9% almost risk-free yield is pretty freaking good. So that's your first option. Now, if you don't have any funds on OP mainnet, the best bridge that I've found is Across, which you can get to by going to app.across.to. If you're bridging USDC from Base or Ethereum mainnet or any of the other OP stack chains, it's actually very fast and very cheap. And same thing with ETH. Speaking of OP mainnet, our next yield farm is on OP mainnet, and that is going to be Spark. If you've ever heard of DAI or the protocol that makes it, MakerDAO, Sky is actually a continuation of DAI, Sky US dollars, or USD Sky, and Spark is part of the MakerDAO protocol. To be honest, their rebranding was pretty confusing, but it's basically the same thing. So as you can see right now, this protocol has over $3 billion invested in it. It is really one of the OGs and one of the safer options when looking at smart contract risk, just because it's been around for so long. And there are so many people that have battle tested this because if you're going to hack something, $3.18 billion is a pretty good prize. And obviously no one has been able to do that. So if you go look at the yield, you'll see it's 4.5% on USDS, which is Sky. And same thing on USDC, and on DAI, it's actually a little bit lower because they're trying to incentivize people to move over to the new coin. But we can get a much higher yield than that. And the way we do that is going over to Pendle. So if you've used Pendle before, you know what it is. But basically, the TLDR is that it allows you to get fixed rate yield on assets that generally have variable yield. So you can see on the Spark app, the yield or the savings rate has actually been declining over time. And this can go up and down depending on their underlying yield generating assets and market conditions. But what Pendle lets you do is it allows you to lock in a yield for a specific period of time. How they do it is actually pretty interesting, and I could go more in depth in an educational video. But for now, let's go ahead, launch the app, and see where we can boost our yield that we would have gotten from Spark. And so right here, if you go under stables, you'll see USDS, which is part of Spark. And if you go to the fixed APY, so we're on this PT USDS page on Ethereum mainnet, and you can see the current yield is 10.25%. And the best part about this is that this yield is going to be locked for 89 days. So basically, if you put in USDS right now into Pendle, you're guaranteed to get that yield on the USDS for 89 days. And with USDS, you can actually go and convert it directly from the Spark website in between USDS and USDC. So it's a really good option. One thing to keep in mind though is that the actual value of these tokens can go up and down with the market expectations of the yield. So the value of these tokens could go down briefly, but you're guaranteed to get this number of USDS tokens at the expiration date. So this is a great yield option if you just want to park your tokens somewhere for 3 months, and you know that you're okay with collecting it at the end instead of sometime during the middle. Then you're guaranteed to get that yield on those tokens. And basically the way that works is they'll give you, for the USDS tokens, they'll give you, if I just want to deposit 100 USDS tokens, the commitment from the protocol is that they will give you 102.5 USDS tokens at the expiration date. And if you do the math for 3 months, that's about a 10.25% yield. So there's two ways to get the USDS tokens from something like USDC. Pendle allows you to swap directly into USDC, so you could go ahead and do something like that. And you can see with 100 USDC, there's not a lot of price impact, so that's not a bad option. The other thing you can do is get USDS directly from Spark by depositing USDC. Okay, so those have been two decent options, but now I have what's probably the juiciest yield, especially if you're doing smaller amounts, and that is on World Chain. So if you haven't heard of World, it's a startup by Sam Altman, who is the guy that created OpenAI, and they actually have their own blockchain. Their main thing is just doing this proof of human verification with these somewhat creepy looking orbs. Theoretically, they don't keep any of your individual data, and they use zero knowledge proofs in order to actually store and check that you're human. I've done it myself. I trust them, but I know a lot of people that don't, and so it's up to you whether you want to verify yourself with the orb. You actually don't need that to take advantage of this yield, but it does provide a boost. The main thing that you do need is the World app on your phone, which you can download from any app store. I'll put like an invite link if you want to go through that, but it doesn't really matter. I think you get an extra $50 if you do, but something like that. I don't know for sure. But anyway, let's jump over to our phone and go ahead and open that. And I can show you how to take advantage of this yield opportunity through the World app. Okay, so right now I am recording from my screen on the World app. Basically, within the World app, there is a mini app store. And the app that you're going to want is Morpho. So if you remember correctly, Morpho is actually what was underneath Moonwell in the first yield opportunity. And now we're going to be doing the same thing on World. So if you go on to Morpho, you'll see that the current USDC yield is 57% APY, which is crazy. Obviously, that's super good. World Chain is actually on the OP stack, so you can trust it as a pretty secure chain. And Morpho is a protocol, has billions of dollars in volume, so it's a pretty safe option. But there's a caveat. So the 57%, if you click into this, if you can actually break it down, there's the native APY, which is 3.9%. There's a boost in world tokens of 7.7%. So if you add up those first two options, you get something like 11.6, 11.7%, which is great. And if that's what you want to do, like that's fine. But if you verify yourself with the orb, you get a boost, and that boost is crazy. It's an extra 46% on top of those other rewards. So altogether, that's 57% rewards. Very good. The caveat is the boost part, but only the boost part, is limited to $250. So the underlying yield is pretty good, but if you're farming less than $250 and you're using the boost, it's actually crazy. I've maxed this out, and my biggest farm right now is for USDC is on Morpho on World. The rewards update like every 8 or 9 hours, and you can claim them directly up here in the Morpho app. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can show you really quick how to actually deposit onto World Chain. So Across Protocol has World Chain as one of their chains. And so you can send from any of these other chains. You can send ETH or USDC, and you'll get it in World Chain. So like, let's just say I'm going from base. I want to send USDC. Then I can get USDCE, which is that version on World Chain. So on the Morpho wallet, you can actually go into the wallet and click add. And then this will allow you to do it through Apple Pay, through Coinbase, Crypto.com, PayPal, Venmo, or debit card, which is great. But if you have your USDC in crypto already, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's not too bad. And I did it myself not too long ago. Basically, if you want to send directly to the World Chain wallet, you have to go onto settings in the World app, go to wallet, and then you can copy your address right here. So that's your wallet address that's kind of under the hood on the World app. They really try and hide it because it's made for people that aren't used to interacting with stuff on chain. But that's good because that means that there are less people farming that yield opportunity. So if you actually copy that address and then you go to Across, you can use Across to transfer directly from any of these chains. Let's just say like 1,000 USDC. When you connect your wallet to Across, you'll have an option to transfer, to bridge and transfer to a different wallet. So I can bridge here and then I can send it to a different wallet on Across. And what I would want to do is bridge from the wallet that I normally use and then transfer that directly to the address on the World app that is part of my own World app. And that's the best way to send the funds over. I'm pretty sure you actually don't even need to transfer any ETH because transactions through the World app are free. World Chain pays for all of them, which is a pretty nice bonus. From there, you can actually go in and go to the mini app store where you will find Morpho. And then once you download that into the mini app store, you open it and then you're right where I was showing you before. And then depositing is super simple. You can just click on there, enter an amount, and deposit. And then you'll see your rewards update every 8 hours. So that was my yield farming video. I hope you liked it. If you want to see more videos like this, drop a comment or like or subscribe. Basically, the better this video does, the more I'll make like it to keep you updated on the best yield farming opportunities. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.